Pupco Studios in Oklahoma City. You're watching the Press Row. I'm Jenny Carlson here with Barry Trammell. Time for our 5 in 5 segment. 5 topics, about a minute each for 5 minutes, and of course our one bell. Let's get right to it with this one, Barry. True, false? The Adrian Peterson situation is just old school punishment. Obviously, everybody's heard the news about the former Oklahoma running back now in trouble with the law for punishing his 4-year-old.
The operative word is just. It's not just old school punishment. It is old school punishment, but it's much more than that. Old school punishment, there's a reason it's old school. It's out of fashion. You can't go hitting 4-year-olds with a switch with the kind of violence that obviously Adrian Peterson did. I mean, it's absurd to hit a 4-year-old 10 or 15 times, which is Adrian's own estimation, with a switch. The doctors clearly found extensive damage, injury a week after the incident. So, no, this is not right. This is not proper. This is not the way an enlightened society acts. And, a lot of people run from the word enlightenment, but it's a good word. It means we've learned better. We know better. You shouldn't treat kids this way. Adrian Peterson, I don't think, has learned that lesson.
Well, I think it might have started out as old school punishment with Adrian Peterson using the switch, and which is something that I think you've even referenced, Barry, that you hadn't really thought about using a switch or a switch in general in years. But I think a lot of people that were punished with a switch, maybe back in the day, would tell you they might have welts, they might have red marks for a while. This went beyond that. This was lacerations. I mean, this was looking at the pictures. It's hard to wrap your head around just how hard this little kid had to be hit for this sort of injury to have occurred. And I think it might have started out as being old school, but it got away from that. Now Adrian Peterson's in trouble for it. Do you think there'll be punishment from the NFL?
Yes, I do.
All right. Let's get back to our next topic. Talking OU football, Barry. We've seen 3 games, non-conference, now Big 12 play starts. So tell me, who is OU's go-to offensive player?
I think it's clearly Sterling Shepard, and here's how we know. The Sooners have done a good job spreading the ball around, doing a lot of different things, but there was one guy they seemed to force the ball to, trying to really get the ball to no matter what, and that is Sterling Shepard. Whether it's throwing in a crowd, whether it's throwing deep, just for deep sake, it's clear that Josh Heupel wants to get the ball to Sterling Shepard, and I can't blame him. Shepard has produced. He's shown in the past that he's a playmaker. He's shown this year that he's a guy that is ready to step into that starring role. Trevor Knight really trying to get the ball to Sterling Shepard and has largely been successful.
Yeah, I think I would go with Shepard as well at this point, but it's going to be interesting to see as these games increase in difficulty how much OU sort of takes the shackles, if you will, off of Trevor Knight. A couple instances where it looked like he had the option to maybe run on Saturday against Tennessee and he didn't pull the trigger, didn't do it. Maybe some of this talk about staying safe and erring on the side of caution to keep him healthy is really sunk in and he's not taken off as much. But, when Trevor Knight gets out in space, he's unbelievably difficult to contain. And then you add that to his ability to throw the ball, which, while not super fantastic, can definitely be effective. I think it's going to be interesting to see how that all plays in. Do they unleash him a little bit more? Does that change something? We'll have to see as the season gets cooking now. All right, Barry, what about up at OSU? 3 games in, who's OSU's go-to offensive player?
Now, this is a good question. I mean, I don't know that there's an easy answer on this one. After week 1, we'd say Tyreek Hill, but Hill hasn't gotten much attention the last 2 games, Missouri State and UTSA. So you got Brandon Shepard has sort of emerged to some. You've also got Juwan Seals is obviously a talented guy out on the perimeter for passes. The running back Des Rowland missed the middle game, so I think you come back though to Tyreek Hill.
Yeah.
I think Cowboys may be keeping Hill a little bit under wraps these last 2 weeks, winnable games that they didn't really have to press. When the Cowboys were up against it against Florida State, they went with Tyreek Hill a lot. I think you'll see that happen as these games toughen up.
Yeah, I think it's Tyreek Hill too, but you know what? The 2 games I've seen the Cowboys in person, we didn't see the Tyreek the Freak show. You got to see it in person, Barry, down against Florida State in Arlington, but I saw the 2 games in Stillwater, And he was largely a non-factor. I mean, there was one punt return against Missouri State that was pretty electrifying. He took it down the far sideline, nearly took it to the house. But offensively, he's just not been very effective. They threw the first pass of the game to him the other night, a swing pass that didn't quite connect. And you wonder, well, maybe, trying to get him out in space, get him a little bit more fluid. I would say right now, I'd say it's probably Brandon Shepard. I'd say he's probably the guy that they feel best throwing to. He's shown the best hands these last 2 games with Dax Garman, but I don't know if, 3, 4, 5 catches is really enough to say he's a go-to. All right, Barry, our fun question of the week, and we are going to have fun. What's your beauty pageant talent? Miss New York wins the Miss America pageant, singing and using a plastic cup a la some character in a movie called Perfect Pitch, which I'm sure I should know, but I don't. But really the question is, what's your beauty pageant talent, Barry?
Really? This is the question you came up with? My beauty pageant talent?
If put on the spot, if you had to do something.
I've got 2 talents in the world.
All right.
I suffer fools gladly, and I can write a mean story. Outside of that, I don't have much going for me, and neither one of those plays well on the stage. So if I'm ever
No musical talent?
If I'm ever in a beauty pageant, I'm going to have to get by with this gorgeous face. So I don't know. If I had to stand on, I would probably have to do some recitation, some oratory presentation. I don't know. Looks like I'm destined to not wear that tiara on the top of my head.
That's too bad. I thought there might be some music you could.
No.
Okay. All right.
And you know that. You're just busting me.
I'm busting you. Okay. You're right. I would probably sing. The boss likes to. His ongoing joke with me is I was in a production when I was in high school that I will not tell him what, and I'm still not going to reveal it here, but I did sing once upon a time, so I'd probably sing if I had to.
By the way, we think we know what it was.
You don't.
We think we do.
You have no idea.
We think we do.
All right, back to the important stuff. Did the Thunder do enough during the offseason, Barry? Our main event in the Oklahoman on News OK looks at offseason moves made by every team in the NBA, done by our great NBA writers, Darnell Mayberry and Anthony Slater. But did the Thunder do enough in the offseason?
Sure. I mean, they added Anthony Morrow. That's, get a nice pickup there with a deep shooter, one of the best 3-point shooters in the league. Here's what we all got to remember. You don't win the title in the summer. You don't win in July. You don't win in August. You put together your team. If it's a great team, you've got a chance. The Thunder has a great team. They'll go into this season with a great team. They'll have a chance. They got to win it next spring. They got to win it in June. If they want the NBA championship, you don't win it in the boardroom. You don't win it with the general manager making trades. You win it by producing when the games are played. So I think the Thunder has the roster set up to at least contend, to challenge San Antonio and Cleveland and Chicago, whoever else might, the Clippers, whoever else might be championship caliber. The Thunder's right there with them. You just got to play well when the game starts.
Yeah, our NBA guys gave the Thunder a B+, which I think is probably about what I would say, or B-, but that's probably close to what I would give them if I was grading. You would have loved to have seen the Thunder in the offseason get that deal done with Reggie Jackson, but I don't think anybody was super hopeful that was going to happen. I think that everybody sort of knew that, we'd get to this point or maybe later before anything would happen with Reggie Jackson. So, I think the talent they have is still young enough and developing enough that you don't have to really make some sort of rash move. I mean, obviously the Pau Gasol talk had everybody buzzing around here thinking, wow, what could that look like if Pau Gasol would come to Oklahoma City? Obviously didn't happen, but those types of moves I think whet people's appetite, when in reality the talent that already exists on this roster is so good that you have to hope that much like other years, last offseason, the offseason before, those guys are getting better. So Kevin Durant isn't the same player he was a year ago. Serge Ibaka isn't. Russell Westbrook isn't. And that improvement makes this a different team than it was even a year ago. Hey, we're brought to you by Papa John's Pizza. You can go online anytime and order your pizza at papajohns.com. And stay with the best coverage team anywhere at newsok.com and every day in the Oklahoma.